Joe Biden's mental decline. I don't know if you guys been paying attention to this. I mean, guys, I saw a video recently of like just him like barely being able to speak. It's so like when we were experiencing in the moment, you couldn't say like we would talk shit, but nobody could say anything. Everybody act like the left act like it was okay. It would drive me nuts because we all knew he was making zero decisions. I think the only decision he was making when he was like, pudding. I want pudding instead of yogurt.
Well, ice cream. He was a big fan of ice cream.
Yeah, so MSNBC host and former White House press secretary Jen Psaki, or I like to call her the ginger swindler, she insisted in an interview that she never saw signs that President Joe Biden had declined while she worked for him. She said, and I quote, "I never saw that person. Not a." Oh, is this it?
Yeah.
Oh,
so she's mentally retarded.
She is so like what a soulless, just vapid.
Well, that may just because she's ginger.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Before you play this, look at her tongue. I don't know if she's going to do the lizard tongue.
Ooh.
Repeat it.
Oh,
when she talks, it drives me
I want to see it.
ballistic.
Let's play this. Play this demon lizard.
I left in May of 2022, just for the facts here. And I have seen Biden once since then, when I took my daughter to the holiday party this last December after he had lost. And
there's the tongue.
so I hadn't seen him in person during that period of time. I never saw that person, not a single time.
Liar.
And I was in the Oval Office every day.
That person.
That was on that debate stage. I'm not a doctor. Aging happens quite quickly.
Yeah, right. I'm not a
saw
doctor.
during that period of time that were similar to that or would have been in a category of that. I don't know, possibly, right? And all these books are going to tell us.
Like, do you think that were they actively covering it up? Were they sort of in denial, or was that just a bad debate? Like, what is your read on that?
Jackass.
Yeah. Well, this is what I
He
mean
read
about
9
cover
books.
up is a very loaded term, I think.
Well, it means you knew that it was really bad and you're pretending otherwise versus you're deluding yourself, which I think is what people do a lot.
Well, I understand, but I still think it's like cover up is often like a crime, right?
Yes,
when people
exactly.
use that term.
They say it's worse
as-
than the
Not
crime.
if you're not.
People
covering
use
up
that
a
term as
crime.
they relate to
Yeah.
All right,
Watergate.
we can stop. I get sick.
She didn't do the lizard tongue. She's a rapacious dumbass.
I
is
love
what she is.
rapacious, guys.
This one's
great
good.
word.
Yep.
This is Senator Elizabeth Warren, another one. She faced some tough questioning during a recent podcast interview about her statements regarding Joe Biden's mental acuity. Who is this host?
He's definitely a liberal. Just listening to him speak, he
Oh,
sounds
look
like
at
a
his
liberal.
look everything right there.
That's a man?
Cut the guy.
Cut your hair, hippie.
I mean, yeah, cut your hair, hippie.
Who the guy is largely irrelevant.
She's
because-
dipping her toe in the podcast world, and this
Oh,
is her.
yeah. By the way, look
like,
at her
what,
face.
One of these random leftist podcast hosts who nobody's ever heard of that somehow manages to book senators.
Well, does he ask her a
She
good
thought-
question?
she
Oh,
thought-
wait,
yes.
no,
Yeah,
he
she-
said
she-
no.
She thought it was a safe
I
place.
actually respect him, Brandon,
Yeah.
because he actually goes, "You come on," and she's like, "Look at her." But look at Pocahontas'
Before
laugh.
we
thought
play
she
this,
wasn't expecting
this
that.
goes to show that what we were saying while Biden was in office about he's losing his mind, he's not all there anymore. Like there's something wrong. This guy is not in charge of the country. Everybody denied it. Media officials, members of the government, members of the administration, everyone was like, "This is not happening." First, it started in little drips and trickles. First, it was a conspiracy, and then a few people started admitting it. Now we have like sitting members of the government admitting, yeah, Biden had problems.
Well, but even before we play this clip, did you hear that one of Hunter Biden's hookers went up to Joe Biden and offered him super sex, and he asked for the soup?
Nah.
Damn it! I screwed up the damn punchline by choking on my. That's an old.
Oh, you had me because I was like, really?
One of those guys like super
I
sex,
wanted
Joe.
to buy-
I'll take this. I'll take the soup.
Yes.
Make it with lentils.
So let's play this clip, and I actually respect this person, whoever it is, for actually checking her. But look at his thumb on his left hand. Is that weird or is it just me?
It's weird.
He's weird.
he's
Do you
CGI.
regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not
at her
seen
hands.
decline.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
At that
Yo,
point.
rewind that.
You did not see
Rewind
any
that.
decline
I
from
love that.
2024
moment. So
Joe
like
Biden to
Super-
Jake, yeah, go
2021.
back to the right. Go back. Look, right here.
I said I had not seen decline.
Rob.
And I hadn't at that point.
You did not see any decline from 2024 Joe Biden to 2021 Joe Biden?
Not when I said that.
Liar.
Not
You know
when I
the-
said that.
The thing is,
I'm a liar.
Look.
he was sharp. He was on his feet. I saw him.
He was on his
Live
feet already.
I
Yeah.
saw him.
had meetings with him a couple of times.
Senator, on his feet is not praise.
Yeah, I like that.
He
Look
can
at her, she's
speak
laughing,
in
bro.
sentences.
That's that.
Is
They
not
laugh in your
praise.
fucking face,
Fair
bro.
enough. Fair
She
enough.
knows she's a scumbag.
He picked up on it on his feet, so he was fucking walking.
This feels like
Congrats,
it feels like a
President.
Between Two Ferns segment of like.
Do we
just-
know that
just
he's not a
awkward
troll?
pauses.
He's not a troller guy, right?
He's
No,
not.
he's
it's
no.
not a troll.
No, like a
his name's in
right
your-
wing hiding.
No way.
Okay.
I can't imagine it. I've never seen him before this interview.
What's
but
his name?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, now I got to find out.
Yeah,
his
it
name,
was
but, like,
a good question, and unless he's
No, I don't.
giving
I don't-
what's
I
it
don't
dressing
know
up
his
like
name,
the role.
But here, guys, here's the problem. Here's the problem with this whole situation, which I think, and I want to know what you guys. By the way, and I want to know what the audience thinks. Did Joe Biden's inner circle know before they propped him up? Yes, no. Some covered it up, or of course. I want to know.
The only no's you're going to get in that chat is going to be trolls because it's not that everybody knew it. It was everybody was saying it on one side. It's not they couldn't have even denied having been made aware of it.
So here's the problem. And by the way, every problem, and a lot of us, no, that's what this world is. We get on here, we talk crap, we push back, we argue, we have different points of view. I love it, and we leave, and we're all cool. Life goes on. But I have a problem because nobody had a solution, Brandon. And I'm being genuine, Connor, Rob. This was happening live in front of our face. All we heard for years, Donald Trump has the nuclear codes, he has the button. I don't listen to any of that shit. None of that. When we saw in real time Joe Biden, by the way, for years before, him falling apart by the way, that's why they kept him in the basement. He was not physically, mentally capable. He wasn't there. We, the people, had to sit there and go, wait, what the fuck? And we couldn't do anything. What's the solution? I need a solution. So I thought about this the other day. I think, and this is mandatory, anybody that is in Congress or wants to run for the president or you're actively a member, period. Once you hit the age of 60 years old, and I'm being dead serious, 60 years old, every single year, all right, there needs to be a cognitive test administered by a doctor, non-biased civilian doctor, okay, not the government's guy that we all pick, probably the best of the best in that field, and we put them in the room, and it's live streamed for everybody to see this test live. And if no bullshit, Rob, no nothing, Joe Biden would have failed. And if they fail, we see it, he's out. No, I'm being dead serious. The guy and he's making the decisions. And as we all are finding out, all these pre-pardon, all these auto pens, Joe Biden was not running the country. So it's almost a disservice to get mad and say, Biden did this. He didn't do shit. It was his administration. And that's why every time you saw him on stage, remember the time that he called Xi Jinping a dictator? And Anthony Blinken was like, like his soul was crushed because they knew he was up there. And every time he spoke, it was like a loose cannon. So I think that's the solution. Let us see it. Like even John Fetterman. If we the people, because they work for us, never forget that, see a John Fetterman, which, by the way, who the fuck, do you think you are wearing shorts and a hoodie and just big old dumbass ogre?
There's some new stuff coming out about John Fetterman recently.
Yeah, and I saw it.
Like acting violent, walking into traffic.
Shoving people in
D.C. By the way, he's one of the main ones because he's had either strokes or brain aneurysms. I want to sit that asshole down in a freaking room and have him test it out. Do you remember? By the way, like all those, who's that oldest guy? Who's the oldest?
Mitch McConnell.
Chuck Grassley. Those guys are freaking corpses. Test them, and if they fail,
Fetterman's staff described him as manic and unhinged at times. This is during what you were talking about, Connor, during his mental break. And his staff, this is a quote from a source inside his office. The staff feared that he might, and I quote, say really fucked up shit to constituents. End of quote. Can you imagine what it's like being inside of that office and going, guys, we're worried John Fetterman's going to say some fucked up shit
That's
to
what
the
they
people.
said.
Well, they were wheeling Dianne Feinstein
debate,
into the Senate chamber. It's like
She voted 8 hours before she died or something like that.
But she was a corpse. By the way, and you heard it because the mics were live. They're like, Feinstein, she went,
We'll take that gurgle as a yes.
Gurgle, yes. She said yes. No. There needs
Remember
to be
Fetterman's debate though against Dr. Oz? Like he had to read off the teleprompter because his brain was still messed up, and like he's like, yeah, I think this. Like he sounded like he was like questioning everything he was saying. Like it was like his brain was clearly damaged.
And to that, the debates. When you talk about the administration not knowing about Biden's mental decline, well, take a look at the facts of what we do know about what they did. They turned the debates and moved the debates to an earlier point than ever has been done in human history. They also scheduled a debate between two people who were governors of states but were not in contention for the running of the office, between Gavin Newsom and DeSantis. Remember when they went up there?
Why?
And then Newsom's showing up at different, I guess
Republican
it was RNC events. All of what you look at, what they did leading up to the July 13th assassination of Donald Trump, or the attempt, and then was the debate before that or after that? I cannot remember. Before.
Yeah.
So everything leading up to that debate was them trying to find a way to swap him out. And then the debate, they put him on the debate stage way earlier than ever happens. That usually happens in what? August, September, October. Yeah. They're doing it in June and July. Why? Because they wanted to put Biden out there so that everybody could see him fall apart on the world's stage, so they could swap him out. And it's exactly what they did. They thought they could be able to ride identity politics into the Oval Office in 2025 by having a black woman be vice president, then take over as the candidate and run for president and win. And it failed spectacularly because the American public was like, we've had enough of this horseshit.
And I love it too. You nailed it. 'Cause think about the timing. They do the debate. They move it up early, and they go, "Oh shit, he's gonna lose." How long after was the assassination attempt?
I think a month because
Trump
the debate was
Biden
in June.
Debate,
Rob. Because Dave, it was
June 27th, 2024,
July
and then
13th.
Or
2
July
weeks.
13th.
Yeah, literally 2
Not a
weeks
month.
later, they shoot Trump in the ear.
Think about the time. By the way, booger almost floated on my nose. Think about, guys, if this was a movie. I'm being genuine.
No one would believe it if it were a movie.
Put yourself in a movie where the president's this evil guy that everybody wants people to believe that's evil, and he's coming back. And the old guy that's falling apart, they move the debate early. He fails horribly. And then 2 weeks later, they're like, let's shoot this fucking guy in the head. Oh, and by the way, have CNN be there and live stream it because we want the world to see it. Wait a minute. CNN hasn't been at night. They've been to 94 rallies. They've never live streamed it. Trust me, live stream that one. We want the world to see. If you fuck around, you're going to get shot in the head. And then once it missed and they go, oh my God, the sniper sucked. He missed. Cue the black chick in and do everything. That's a movie that we lived in. 100. That's my belief. That's what I believe in. All right? Because that's so blatantly obvious in your face. And they lost.
They failed, and then they had another guy try to shoot him again a
Another
couple
guy
of months. And we don't talk about it anymore. Nobody talks about crooks and why why the parents haven't been sued for the act of the kid.
Encrypted phones?
His encrypted
were
phone
tied to foreign
what about
countries.
Ryan Ralph and his connection to Ukraine, the people that hate Trump the
Why
most?
both attempted Trump assassins appered in BlackRock commercials?
Nobody
ever discusses that
weird,
one.
Ain't weird.
I just
want
to I think that my religious or spiritual tendencies spiked after July 13, but you appreciate if that bullet had caught the mark that crooks wanted it to catch. The world that we would be living in right now, there'd be no Ashley Babbitt settlement. There would be no Jan 6ers released, pardoned from prison. You would have 1,500 political prisoners rotting away in a gulag. You would have Kamala Harris or Nikki Haley and frickin' Mike Pompeo on the Republican side. We would be in World War III right now because that would have been the Franz Ferdinand bullet on steroids. And but for the grace of God, the miracle that we did witness, the world has gone in this trajectory where we have a transformational President Trump kicking out illegals, criminals, shutting down the border, cutting off the fentanyl. It's so wild that Mark Carney, the PM globalist whore out of Canada, comes down here and compliments Trump after having shit on him for the last 2 months, saying, you're a transformational president, you shut down the border, you protected Americans, you're looking out for Americans, God bless you. It's a miracle what we've lived through.
Great point. And I want to close, but here's my question. So the debates happen. When did the assassination attempt, when did Biden step down? Because I think if
a week after the
assassination.
well, so here's my question though: if Trump gets shot, Biden still stays as president.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm saying. So
he withdrew on 8 days later, July 21st of 2024. He withdrew from the candidate.
So if he's shot, guys. So notice this: if he's shot, Biden's still in. All the people that are doing all the signing and everything, Twitter's at jeopardy. Everything's at jeopardy. The border's still wide open, and you're. Oh my God!
And Republicans picked the replacement for Trump, which is going to be Nikki Haley. They say.
Yeah, which is why Mike Pompeo thought he had a chance to be VP.
Well, look at the RNC that happened right after he got shot. The stuff they did at the RNC, the rule changes they made, the way it was presented, made no sense for the energy Trump was bringing into it. But if you imagine a scenario in which Nikki Haley is on that stage accepting the nomination, it makes so much more sense.
Of course.
The entire Republican establishment was preparing for Nikki Haley to come in as the replacement for Donald Trump after he died.
You remember what Biden said to him when he called him after the assassination?
What?
And Biden said, "Why'd you move your head like that?" This is what Trump said Biden told him over the phone.
Why'd you move your head?
And I'm thinking to myself, like, that's a weird thing for a demented old fart to say.
Yeah.
And he's like thinking, like, why'd you move your head like that? You weren't supposed to do
Yeah,
that.
why in God's name would you look at that chart?
Such a weird thing to say.
You know,
a miracle.
You know,
bona fide miracle.
You know what that says to me? Evil has plans. Nothing beats God's plan. And say what you want. That guy's supposed to be here, and the world's a better place for it. Say what you want. Facts. Don't give up about your feelings. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.